Tuneful Toots. The little engines who work on the narrow gauge mountain railway are always busy. They go up the hills and down the hills all day long. Rusty likes puffing along by the lake best. He likes to toot his horn there because the sound echoes around the hills. Rusty's horn is special because it has two notes, a high one and a low one. Toot, toot. Rusty liked his horn, but the other engines didn't. They thought it was the most awful noise they had ever heard. One morning, Mr. Percival, the thing controller of the narrow gauge railway, had news for the engines. "Sir Topham and Lady HiT are visiting our railway tonight," he told them, "and a brass band is coming to play for them." The engines were very excited. Rusty loved brass band music and couldn't wait to hear it. There was a lot to do before the visit though. Skarloey and Renez brought tables and chairs, and Duncan and Peter Sam helped too. Rusty thought he had the best job of all. He was going to take the members of the brass band on a trip before the concert started. When he pulled into the transfer yards to collect them, he tooted his horn happily. Toot toot! Thomas heard the toot when he arrived with the bandstand. "What was that lovely sound?" he asked. "It was Rusty," Peter Sam told him. "He thinks his horn is special, but we don't like it." "Whee!" said Thomas. "Well, I do." When the brass band players were on board, Rusty pulled out of the station. "Don't be back late!" called the thing controller. But Rusty didn't hear him. He was too busy tooting his horn. Toot toot! Toot toot! Toot toot! Rusty took the brass band to the viaduct and the bridge. He was so happy that he forgot all about the concert and set off for the lake. Clickety-clack went Rusty as he huffed past the old castle. Toot toot! But suddenly, clang! Rusty stopped. He had run out of fuel. "How will we get back?" said the leader of the band. How will Mr. Percival know where we are?" Rusty tooted. If you all play loudly and I toot my horn extra hard, the sound will echo all the way back to the yards," he said. "Then the thing controller will know where we are." The leader of the band waved his baton and the band began to play. Then Rusty tooted his horn as loudly as he could. Toot toot! Toot toot! Toot toot! Thomas and the fat controller and Lady HiT were waiting in the transfer yards when they heard the sounds. "That's Rusty and the brass band," puffed Thomas. "They must be in trouble. If we follow the sounds, we'll find them." The brass band kept playing and Rusty kept tooting until he saw engine lamps coming towards them along the track. Soon all the engines were at the lake, and so was the fat controller. "We will have the brass band concert here," he said. "We heard your horn, Rusty," said Peter Sam. That's how we found you," said Duncan. "Because you have a really special tooty horn," said Skarloey. Rusty was very pleased, and when all the engines blew their whistles, "Peep!" Rusty tooted louder than ever before. Toot toot!